Hello, everybody. Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach here, along with Jonathan Fowler, who's pinch hitting for Jim Goodman this week. And, Jonathan, we're going to take a look at the Pick 5 at Tampa Bay Downs on Saturday. It includes a couple of stakes races, including one early prep for the Tampa Bay Derby. And we'll start there, the Pasco Stakes, for 3-year-olds going 7 furlongs. And who did you go for here?
Well, I think in this race you got to start out a little bit deep, unfortunately, with these 3-year-olds stepping into some of their first races for the new year. So I actually went with a horse that just broke his maiden, Hand of Power, the number 6. Started off in 2 turf races, one at Kentucky Downs, then Keeneland, didn't show anything. Stepped onto the dirt at Churchill on November 14th, won very impressively. So this colt by Candy Ride really likes the dirt, looked very impressive winning. Comes off a little bit time off, but I don't see a big deal with that, with Ian Wilkes being the trainer. So I go with Hand of Power, then look at the number 4, Formal Summation, just because this horse is pretty consistent. Second last time out at a smaller stakes at Tampa as well, so I think he fits right in. The favorite on the inside, Morning Fire, I don't think 7 furlongs is his deal, so I'm including him in there, but I'm not going to include him in my actual Pick 5 ticket. I'm going to throw him out, but I think you also have to look at the 2, 3, and 10 just as contenders, but my top picks are the 6, 4, and 1.
The 4 is who I ended up going for as a win pick, Formal Summation. I like the track can be a little quirky there. It's a little deep, and he's had a good start over the track for Top Local Connection, the trainer and the jockey, winning at a high rate there. So I like Formal Summation. Awesome slate, the 2 I would throw in because of going into Brian Lynch's barn, and it's an interesting angle. Morning Fire is the other one I used for the Pick 5. And I wanted to use more horses in other races, so to keep the ticket manageable, I didn't use Hand of Power, just coming off the maiden win, but that would have been the next one I would have gone to, along with another maiden winner, the 10, Flashy, I think it's Cayenne. But I'm going to use the 4, 2, and 1 in this first leg. Second leg, I thought the top 2 choices, Peso and Red Rose Cat, looked pretty good. It's just a claiming race. But I thought just the 4, Simply Classic at 15 to 1 is one I'm also going to use because this horse has run really well at Tampa Bay Downs. And again, because that can be kind of a quirky track, I think that's a noteworthy stat. So I'm going to use 3, 4, and 5 in this leg. How about you?
I'm going more towards the outside. I do think the 5 is pretty dangerous, Red Rose Cat, being on the speed. So if that one gets out, that one may be a little bit dangerous. But I'm looking at the number 9, Chang's Secret. And, this horse has been racing at Saratoga and Belmont, and just recently Aqueduct, just won at Aqueduct. In that race, it was a claiming 25, non-winners of 3, so it comes into open claiming, so a little bit tougher, but I think this horse should be able to handle it. Can sit slightly off the pace or be on the lead, so I like that versatile run style. Also has Fernando de la Cruz, one of the good jocks down at Tampa Bay, so like that horse. Also the number 8, taking the slow road, won last time out at Tampa on the dirt. We'll see if he can take that performance back to the turf. And then the number 5, Red Rose Cat. So my top 3 are the 9, 8, 5 in race 8.
Wayward Lass is the 9th race, the other stakes race on the card there. And I didn't have a real strong opinion here. I thought you could go a lot of ways. So what I ended up deciding to do was go with the 2 Pletcher horses that are coming out of allowance races. I always think Fletcher is real dangerous when he has a horse that wins an allowance race and he throws him right into a stakes race. And it usually is a sign that he's got a good bit of confidence in the horse. So I'm going to use the 8 and the 9 in the Pick 5. Tiger Moth and Kinsley. If I had to pick one, I'd lean to Tiger Moth just because of the improvement she showed last time. Innovation Idea, White Clover, Savings Account were others that I wrote down here, but I ended up, when I structured the ticket, didn't want to go that deep, so I'm going to just stick with the 2 Pletcher allowance winners, Tiger Moth and Kinsley, and try to get through on one of those. How about you?
This is a very interesting race. There's a lot of angles you can go on. For instance, number 1 gets blinkers back on. Her numbers were much higher when she had blinkers on in the past, and she was a solid, graded stakes contender at that point. So if she returns to that form, she's right up there. But it's hard to go with her based on her most recent form. I'm going to use the number 3 savings account just based on her more recent performances. She was third in the Zenyatta Grade 1, 2 starts back. I don't think she liked the slop in her most recent at Remington Park, where she finished third. So I'm going to say she rebounds on a better track today or on this weekend. And then the Pletchers are definitely solid contenders. I actually veered a little bit more to the number 9, Kinsley, just based off she's improving with each and every start. This is a big jump up for her, but I think the added distance helps her out as well. So I kind of leaned the opposite direction, but I thought both of them could be dangerous stepping up. But my top 3 are the 3, 9, and 1.
10th race is a maiden race for 3-year-olds on the turf, and I ended up just going with 2 horses here for good trainers, Clement and Proctor. Italian Charm, the 10, British Bulldog, the 9 in here. Certainly you could use more in a maiden race, but again, to kind of keep... I couldn't find anybody I wanted to single in here was the problem, so that makes it difficult to go as deep as I would like in some of these races. So 3 and 6, Wolf Rock, Z Ponte for prices, I thought were a little intriguing if you're just playing the race to itself, but for purposes of the pick 5, if I had to pick one, I'd go Italian Charm, the 10, but I'm going to use the 10 and the 9. How about you?
I actually landed on the 3, Wolf Rock. Interesting race right there. He was on the outside, broke out. He was more towards the inside, but he was very fractious, so he didn't get away very well. Then he went 4 wide, just couldn't sustain that, but still finished a good third. So I think that is a good start to move off of. Has the turf pedigree, so I think that should show up very well for this race. Using the 8, Bold Salsa, that finished right ahead of him, he extends out a little bit better, so I don't know if he's a solid contender for the win, but could get in there for the show and place. And then if you look at the 10, I think you're right on with Italian Charm. Also gets first-time Lasix, which in the Christophe Clement barn gets 27% winners off that angle right there. So, it's hard for me to single here, but 3, 8, 10 were my top 3 in this race.
And then finally the 11th race, and this is where I went the deepest. It's an allowance race, and it's at a mile, and so I think the inside posts are certainly helpful here. Didn't just have a strong opinion of anybody. I had to pick for a win. I guess I would lean maybe toward the 4. Is Heit, ISSHEIT for Jamie Ness. Does well with newcomers to his barn. But the 7, Sweet Sandy, the 5, Strike Back Fast, the 2, Watch This Cat. So I'm going to use all 4 of those in the final leg of my pick 5 ticket. So I would be 3 by 3 by 2 by 2 by 4. How about you?
As I finish up, I'm going 4 deep in this one. The number 2, Watch This Cat, I really liked. Has been in this condition the past 2 races. At Tampa the last time was flying down the stretch, and I thought, watching back, it looked like she got her nose down, but she just lost by a nose. So I really like how she's put in 2 strong efforts. We'll see if she can get the win this time. And then also the 1, Relevant, was on the outside in the post position and broke way out, then had a 3-wide trip the entire way. Still finished just a length and a quarter back in 5th, so I think that inside post should be able to help her save some ground. Then I looked to the outside with Sweet Sandy, been ultra consistent, and it had a nice second last time out. She was also wide and was running on a little and just lost out on some ground there. And then towards the outside, number 10, Be Nice or Leave. Shortens up this time, and I like that. This horse is, kind of likes to be on the lead, so shortening up a little bit, I like that angle as well. So I go 4 by 2 by 4 by 3 by 4. I'm going to have to find a buddy to go in on this ticket with me, but I think it might be worth it. I think these are such big fields, and you get such good prices. Plus, you only get a 15% takeout on this pick 5 at Tampa, so I think it might be worth it if you can score on this pick 5.
Best of luck to everybody and your wagers for the racing down at Tampa Bay, where it won't be impacted by the snow, although I think there's some rain that could impact us. You'll want check for scratches, because just some pretty much everything east of the Mississippi River has got some kind of weather impact this weekend, be it rain or snow. Best of luck with your wagers, and we'll be back next week for another edition of the In the Money podcast from KeenelandSelect.com.